Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the channel and welcome to a GT Sport driving tips and hints video. It's been a wee while since we've done one of these, but in this one we are going to look at braking and the importance it plays in terms of the construct of the corner. So the biggest thing I probably noticed between myself, who is a reasonably quick driver but by no means the quickest in the game, and drivers that I am probably quicker than, is the difference within the braking zone and how they handle the braking zones of each corner. And this isn't a case of that I'm able to brake later than some of these drivers. In fact, it's very much the opposite case. Quite often what I see is a lot of drivers braking too late into the corner, and then this compromises all the other elements of the corner, cost them lap time each corner, which can add up to quite a significant margin by the time you get to the end of the lap. So in this video I'm going to try and show you the importance that braking plays within the construct of the corner and why maybe it's something you can take a little bit of a look at in your driving. Maybe it's a mistake you're making, something you can change very quickly. It doesn't even require you to kind of be better at the game. It's just a case of braking just a little bit early for each corner, and then you kind of get all the other elements of the corner a little bit better. So let's take a look at the construct of the corner. Now in my mind, the corner is simply made up of 4 elements. First element is the braking, second element is the racing line, third element is your minimum apex speed, and then element number 4 is the exit. So let's take a look at how that plays out throughout the duration of the corners. Coming into turn number 1 here at Laguna Seca, we're braking just before the freeboard there. Now this is just the braking zone, we're pretty much just braking in a straight line. As we get to about the 1 board, we start to turn in towards the corner, and this is where the line starts to play a part. So this is us trail braking into the apex of the corner. Still on the brakes here, of course, easing that brake off as we come into the first part of the apex. And the next thing we're going to take a look at is the minimum apex speed. So as we get to kind of the middle part of the corner, that's where we're going to be at our lowest speed. In this case I think we get down to around about 50 miles per hour. There we go, that's our minimum apex speed, 50 miles per hour. Obviously the line is still being negotiated all the way through this corner, and then when you're on the accelerator and actually accelerating out the corner, that is of course the exit part of, or the exit phase of the corner. So that's the 4 elements to the construct of the corner. I'm now going to try and demonstrate to you why the braking part of that is the most important. And you might be asking, why is the braking more important than the other 3 elements when the braking phase is maybe actually the shortest part of the corner. So we're going to do a side by side here. On the left hand side we're going to brake slightly too late into each corner. By braking slightly too late I mean literally about a metre, 2 metres after where I would normally brake, and on the right hand side we're actually going to brake slightly earlier. So I'm going to brake about 3 to 4 metres before I know I really have to be on the brakes. And as we go through each corner I will bring up the minimum apex speed. So you can see as we went through turn number 1, I think it was about 5 miles an hour, turn number 2 there, or turn number 3 I think it's classed as, again 5 miles an hour. 5 miles an hour there going through the quick right hander, and you can see from the lap on the left hand side it's not like a completely messy lap. We're not sliding all over the place, we're not really missing the apexes by too much. We do miss that apex there in all fairness, but it does look like a fairly normal lap. But look at the difference in the lap times underneath. Just by braking that little bit early and then being able to go through all the other phases of the corner in a much more controlled manner, as in can get the line right for the corner, we then carry a much higher minimum apex speed, and then we can get on the throttle a little bit earlier. And it adds up to 1.7 seconds over the course of this lap. Now again, go back through the video, watch the lap on the left hand side where we're braking just slightly too late into each corner. You'll see it's not a particularly messy lap. It doesn't look particularly messy, but you can clearly see the difference in the minimum apex speeds, and you can clearly see the difference when the clock is stopped at the end. So just maybe something to consider in your driving. Maybe you are braking a little bit too late into a lot of these corners. You're not knowing that you're really making that mistake, because we're always told that to be the last of the late breakers, or to brake as late as possible, is the way to get the quickest lap times. And that is not strictly untrue, because the later you can brake while carrying all the other elements of the corner at the max is obviously going to be the best. But by braking just that a little bit too late, you could be compromising every other part of the corner, and then that adds up to a whole lot of lost lap time. And really what I'm trying to kind of emphasise here is that if you start driving this way, you will improve so many more other aspects of your racing and driving as well. You will be a lot more consistent, because you're giving yourself that margin of error into each corner. You'll improve your tyre wear because you're going to be in much more control of the car throughout the duration of the lap and then the race distance, particularly if you're doing a daily race at sea. And because also you're then braking a little bit early into the corners, it gives you a much greater time to react to maybe something unfolding in front of you, or if the back end of the car decides to step out, you're giving yourself that little bit more margin of error to react to stuff like that. So there is a lot of benefits to introducing this into your driving. Now the biggest benefits is obviously going to be within the race environment. Obviously in qualifying you are trying to push the limits. I'm a big proponent of there should be a difference between your race pace and your qualifying pace, or the way you approach each of those sessions. In qualifying or in time trial mode, you're going for it, you're pushing the limits of the car, you want to see the absolute latest that you can brake while still maintaining control of the car. I'm a great believer that there should be a sort of difference between the way you approach qualifying or time trial as to how you approach the race. You know, so basically what you would call your race pace, leave 5% on the table, just brake that slight little bit early into each of the corners, give yourself a little bit of margin for error, helps you to eliminate the chances of making big mistakes, even minor mistakes, means you can kind of react better to things going on around you, and then overall you start getting better results. I do think far too many drivers go out there and try to drive every lap like it's a qualifying lap, or if it's the last lap they're ever going to be doing in their lives, and I think that probably leads to a lot of problems that could be very, very simply eliminated just by turning it down to 95% instead of trying to go 100% all the time. But that's my advice in terms of how to handle braking in terms of the construct of the corner. It was just something I kind of thought up of one day. I kind of thought I'm going to put that in a video. It seems like quite good advice. I was really surprised by just how big the benefit was when I did the back-to-back laps. I didn't expect the margin to be quite as big. So hopefully that's quite ably demonstrated the benefits that can maybe be implemented into your driving. Now I do appreciate that I am by no means a driver coach, a professional driver. This is obviously just my opinions, my kind of way of looking at things. But I do think if you're maybe, you know, in the sort of bracket, I'd say even up to a low A+ driver, this is maybe something you could find useful and implement into your driving. Give it a try, you never know. Let's be honest, you're going to take any little tip, trick, hint, cheat you can get to be quicker on the track. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section. Please do hit that like button, please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I shall see you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye now.